Breaking tonight, the biggest event to date in campaign 2016 is now just 24 hours away. And at the center of the political universe is the battleground state of Ohio. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly, reporting live from Cleveland. By this time tomorrow night, the top 10 Republican presidential contenders will be going head-to-head for the very first time in a debate right here. And before this arena is filled, before the candidates take the stage, before the first question is even asked, and I assure you, it has already been drafted, we are hearing that this debate will have an impact on the White House race like few before it ever have. And the reason, in 2 words, Donald Trump. Joining me now, Bill Burton. He's the former White House Deputy Press Secretary under President Obama. Howard Kurtz, the host of Fox News' Mediabuzz, and Chris Stirewalt, who is our Fox News digital politics editor. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here live with us.
Yeah,
very exciting stuff. So Stirewalt knows that the debate questions have been formulated. We've been going on, and they are. Oh wait, no, it's not time for that. Tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow.
That's starting now.
Let me start with you, Chris. Donald Trump. Everybody says it's the Donald Trump debate. I don't know.
Look, he obviously has some decisions to make about what message he wants. Does he want to be presidential, et cetera? I think too much is put into this because of 2 things. What drives this debate are these questions. And the questions that you and Brett and Chris are asking is going to be what drives this debate. And these are tough questions. These are Tasmanian devil questions. These are tough. Well, you know, he spun around and stuff. It was hard. But the point is, these questions are what the candidates should be worried about. They shouldn't be worried about, I got this one-liner with Donald Trump. They ought to worry about answering those questions. The other thing that they ought to be careful about is, frankly, there are some guys who are tough debaters up there. Ted Cruz is up there. Mike Huckabee's up there. There's some guys who are really good. If they're thinking only about Trump, they're going to get their clock cleaned by somebody else.
Well, you know what else people don't think about is we, as the debate moderators and the debate team, we are charged with trying to keep equal time among these candidates, and we've made a promise to try to do that. So if it's spinning out of control, and if one candidate like Trump or whoever is getting tons of time, we're going to have to cut that off and move on to other candidates. It's somebody keeping the master time list. So it won't happen that Trump has got 30 minutes and somebody else has got 10.
Good luck cutting Trump off, but that's your job, not
you
mine.
From all people, you know I can do it. you know I can do it. Howie, let me ask you, because you've been hearing a different kind of messaging from Donald.
Here's the news flash. Donald Trump is toning it down. He hasn't said anything inflammatory or taken a whack in anybody's head in a week. He is such a dominant frontrunner right now, Megyn, that he realizes that he doesn't need to be the Don Rickles candidate hurling out insults. And with everybody tuning into this arena tomorrow night, they want to see whether he's a wild man, the way many media detractors say, or does he seem reasonable.
He's actually dialing it back, not just with respect to his criticism of the other candidates, but media people, too. He hated Chuck Todd. He said Charles Krauthammer was a clown and a moron, and now that's all been reversed.
All those idiots and losers.
But it's like we remember what was said just like a couple weeks ago.
I know, but this is the sign of a guy moving from an outside agitator to maybe being a plausible nominee. There's no point anymore. I mean, he'll punch back for people who he thinks unfairly criticize him, but there's no point anymore in ridiculing the individual journalist. After all, they're starting to treat him with a little bit of respect.
Well, and it seems like the guys on the debate stage, he's telegraphing to them, I won't cut you if you don't cut me. Mm-hmm. Like, I will cut you if you cut me first. Bill, let me ask you, as a person who actually worked with the man who is now our president, you were there. You were with him while they were getting him ready. You guys were all getting him ready for a night like tomorrow night. What do you think is going on behind the scenes in these camps, and how high do you think they view these stakes?
I think that this debate is actually one of the most important primary debates that we've ever seen. People haven't anticipated a debate like this ever, probably. Even when you look back to 07 and 08 when President Obama was running, there would be moments that happened along the way, Reverend Wright, things like that, where people would want to see how did the candidates respond in the debate setting. But nothing like this, where Donald Trump is coming and changing the whole thing. So right now, you've got a bunch of aides who are scared out of their minds that their candidate is going to do something that's going to cause massive problems for them. But nobody is out there thinking, I can't wait till tomorrow because my guy is going to clean their clocks.
How do they watch it? How do you think the support teams watch the debate? Do they go to a private room? Do they sit there nail biting? Like, is it what?
Well, people sit and they watch it, and it's a little different now because Twitter is so much more important than it was even back in 2007. So they're sitting there and they're also engaging. They've got their whole media teams. But I just want to go back to something that Chris said. I actually don't think they're worried about the questions that much because They're going to say what they're going to say, and in the interaction,
what?
Like
they're going to ignore Megyn and pivot to what they want to say.
The good questions are not the ones that are scripted; it's the ones that happen in the exchange.
You all never had to do a Fox News debate, and here, well, no, I'm serious. So the point here isn't to do, and if I may, the point here is that these questions are designed to not let them off the hook, to not let them, that there has to be an affirmative, there is an affirmative thing that you
there
have to say.
There is a laser-like focus.
You have to answer something in these questions. They are designed to say, I know what you've said about this, but what about that?
The dodge and weave will be readily apparent to all the viewers at home if they choose to go that route. And they may very well choose to go that route. But, the question is whether this is actually, not to be too grandiose about it because Fox News is hosting it and I'm a co-moderator, but is this actually, does it have the potential to change the course of history? I mean, one of these guys could be out by 11 o'clock tomorrow night.
I would say change the course of civilization, perhaps.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's thank you.
Let's not understate it.
Okay, the Republicans decided they wanted to wait to start their nominating process because they thought it was too long. It beat up Mitt Romney. He got into the general election and then lost. So they wanted to do it shorter. So they waited. You know what they did? They freighted and freighted and freighted tomorrow night. They freighted and freighted this debate because now there's no Iowa straw poll. This is the first debate. The stage is crowded. The stakes are high. They're worried about Trump. Hillary Clinton showing new vulnerability. It's all swirling. They're coming here. And yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Go ahead.
The reason I talk about moments in these debates is that you'll have the huge audience for the Fox debate tomorrow night, but then you have the media echo chamber. And 10 candidates are not going to get sound bites that replay in segment after segment and newscast after newscast. There isn't room. It's such a crowded field. So there'll be Trump, undoubtedly, and maybe Jab and Walker or somebody else. And that's what these other candidates are hoping for, some kind of moment where if they don't, it doesn't have to be a zinger, but it has to be something memorable.
I think that's right. I think that right after the debate, it'll be very hard to tell who actually won it. I think you find out in the days that follow. If you think back to the South Carolina debate in 2007, where President Obama said he would speak with Ahmadinejad if he thought that could make progress.
Well.
In the moment, it was this onslaught of media and people saying, oh, this is a huge gaffe, he really screwed up. And I was on the conference call with the president the next day, then senator, and he was like, I'm not backing down from that. That's what I really think, if that's what we need to do. And we fought that fight, and we won the public opinion battle on that.
Still fighting that fight.
Yeah, I remember that. Charles Krauthammer felt differently about it. I remember that distinctly.
Footnote.
He was never going to vote for
I'll mention
Barack
that
Obama.
later. The thing, if you ask me, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the front runners, other than Trump, right? Because he's going to be himself, I think. He says he's not really preparing. He's just going to go out there and be himself. I don't know. I mean, some of the articles today said it's sort of the post-policy debate for Trump. He says he's not studying up on policy. He's just going to go out there and say, I am who I am, and I'm ticked off like the rest of you, and here's why. But you take a Jeb Bush, you take a Scott Walker, one of these guys who's hovering along the top, who really thinks that they could get it if Trump collapses.
Right.
They have a lot to lose. Jeb Bush did not get good reviews from his performance in New Hampshire on Monday night.
He did not.
And I think the expectations for somebody like Jeb Bush are pretty high, right? He's a Bush. He's a two-time governor. He should be smooth. He should come out here and be able to rock it. And if he doesn't, could this be a campaign implosion?
One of the things that I love most about Americans is that they don't spend as much time thinking about politics as we do. They live their normal lives. They do decent things instead of sit around and think about what politicians say all the time. These debates are moments when decent, ordinary people tune in and they say, I guess I have a civic duty. I got to pay attention to what these chuckleheads in politics are doing. So they tune in. And then it's flashcards. Jeb Bush, okay, flashcard. Yes or no. Scott Walker, flashcard. Do I like this guy? Do I not like this guy? The comfort level.
But in a moment that your impression could be formed or collapsed. I mean, a stutter, one wrong word, a look of uncertainty, a dodge when you're asked a direct question.
But there is such a thing as...
That was bad. Poor Governor Perry.
There is such a thing as expectation. So people who don't follow politics intensely will still have a certain expectation of a Jeb Bush or Scott Walker or sitting governor. Donald Trump, they've heard so much about it, so he has a pretty low bar to clear, frankly. Yep. And the others, they may not know.
I got to go, but I can't go without asking you, Bill. As a Democrat, is there anybody who's coming on this stage tomorrow night who you're a little worried about?
Well, I would say that because Donald Trump is in the race, he's kept people from rising up. People like John Kasich is not really getting a fair shot in the media. And I think if you look at somebody like that, who's a popular governor in this state, whose economy is doing pretty well, he hasn't been getting a lot of oxygen. I think tonight in his hometown arena, it could be pretty interesting.
So you like having Trump in this debate?
I do, very much.
We like it too.
Yeah.
Great to see you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Megyn.
To be continued tomorrow night.